This lesson I'm going to be showing you how you can animate a square moving across the screen. So we're going to be using the request animation and running an animation. We're going to be incrementing the X value, the horizontal position of the blue square, and then moving it across the screen. I've added in the values here that we're going to be using so we can make adjustments to it. So if we wanted a faster speed, we can always update it. That's going to give us a faster speed. If we wanted a larger square, we can do that as well. Change the size of the square very easily with the JavaScript code. It's going to be an example of using the requestAnimationFrame to create animations in Canvas. So we've got our Canvas element linked to the JavaScript code for the DOM content loaded. So using the document and adding an event listener. So this event is going to make sure that all the DOM content is loaded. So even if you have your JavaScript above the DOM content, it will still fire off this function and run the code. So we're going to just place the Canvas selection within this main DOM content loaded function. And we're going to set the value of X and set the initial value of X to be 0. And then we've got a value for speed. So this is going to be a constant, and I'm going to set the speed to be 2. And you can update these values as needed. And this is going to be the size. So set the size of the element of the square to be 20. So it's going to give us some flexibility in adjusting these properties. Now we need to create the animation function. So I'm just going to call this animate. It's going to be a function called animate. We're using the CTX and clear the rectangle. And this allows us to clear the content from the canvas. So using the canvas width and the canvas height. So that clears it. And let's set the value of the fill style. So set it so that we have a blue square. And then we want to create the square itself using the fill rectangle function. And let's add in the parameters for the fill rectangle function. So we have the X value, and we want to set it to roughly around halfway through. So let's take the canvas height and divide it by 2, so it's going to be halfway. And then we also need to take the square height, so the size of the square. So it's going to be taking the square size, and I'm just going to update this to S size. So it's going to be the square size that we're using, and taking the square size, and we're dividing that by 2. And then we also want to take the square size and place it within the square size. So that's going to be the S size, fill space for the square. And then we take X and we add whatever the speed is to X. So that will give us the movement to place it in the new position. And we want to check to see if the square X, so if X is greater than the canvas width, then we're going to use that condition. We're going to set the value of X to be equal to minus whatever this S size is that we have, the square size. And then we're going to use the requestAnimationFrame to do the animate, and close off the function, and then kick off the animate function. So that gives us the animation of the square moving across the screen. Once it reaches the end, then it resets the position back to the beginning.